Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal amid the ever-shifting tides of Port Charles, the latest wave of speculation surrounding General Hospital has once again set the fanbase abuzz. This time, the spotlight falls on three familiar names caught in a whirlwind of rumor and intrigue. Britt Westbourne, who is said to be making a dramatic return in an entirely new form, Dr. Liesl Albrecht, the enigmatic and calculating mother rumored to re-emerge amid simmering conspiracies. And two major exits whispered behind the scenes, departures that could reshape the canvas of the show forever. While none of these have been officially confirmed, and all remain firmly in the realm of rumor, the convergence of multiple sources lends a compelling weight to the speculation. Some of these sources have proven to be accurate in the past, while others remain questionable, but what they all have in common is their ability to ignite curiosity and inspire new narrative possibilities in the minds of loyal viewers. As always, these whispers aren't just idle chatter, they're sparks that could very well ignite a storm of change in Port Charles. With a mix of caution and excitement, let us step into this swirl of possibilities, where every familiar name could be on the verge of a shocking twist in the weeks to come. Among the most riveting rumors circulating around General Hospital right now is the potential return of one of the show's most enigmatic and controversial characters, Dr. Liesl Albrecht, portrayed by Kathleen Gotti. Longtime fans of Port Charles will instantly recognize the weight this character carries in the intricate web of betrayals, experimental medicine, and moral ambiguity that define the soap's darker undercurrents. According to swirling speculation, Liesl is not only back in town but may be working closely with the equally enigmatic and potentially dangerous Professor Hank Dalton, played by Daniel Goddard, a man whose recent presence in Port Charles has already raised more questions than answers. The idea of Liesl partnering with Hank is more than just a provocative twist, it represents the collision of two of the show's most volatile figures. Liesl, after all, has an infamous history of defying ethical and medical boundaries. Her medical license was revoked after she conducted unauthorized and illegal experimental procedures on living patients, often without their consent or even knowledge. She once injected Robert Scorpio with a neurotoxin, leaving lasting consequences that haunted his health and career. In one of her most disturbing storylines, she imprisoned both Duke Lavery and Robin Scorpio in underground medical facilities that blurred the line between clinic and dungeon. Her so-called healing sanctuaries were anything but. They were centers for manipulation, coercion, and unregulated experiments that threatened the lives and liberties of anyone who crossed her. Now, with whispers suggesting she's returned to Port Charles under a new agenda, and possibly a new alliance, fans are speculating wildly about her true intentions. The most compelling aspect of these rumors involves her daughter, Britt Westbourne, played by Kelly Thibault, whose recent return has already injected a wave of anticipation and emotional complexity into the canvas. In what could be a game-changing twist, it's being theorized that Liesl may have somehow saved Britt from the fatal hook killer attack that supposedly ended her life. If true, this would mean General Hospital might completely rewrite Britt's tragic fate, not only sidestepping her confirmed death but also ignoring the devastating diagnosis of Huntington's disease that once sealed her doom. The prospect of a retcon that dramatic isn't entirely out of step for General Hospital, which has made a tradition out of resurrecting the supposedly dead and flipping medical outcomes. But if Liesl did indeed intervene to save Britt, it raises questions about where, and how, she has been operating all this time. Was she using one of her secret underground labs to stabilize Britt's condition? Has she been hiding in plain sight, orchestrating a return for her daughter that could upend every relationship Britt once had? And more importantly, what does Hank Dalton have to do with all of this? Hank's presence in these rumors adds a further layer of danger and mystery. A man known for his radical views, psychological manipulation, and cryptic past, Hank is the type of character who could easily push someone like Liesl to embrace her darkest tendencies once again. Their alliance could signal the birth of a new underground movement, one rooted in experimental medicine, revenge plots, and the kind of shadowy ethics that Port Charles has not seen since the days of Faison and Helena Cassadine. If these two figures are truly working together, it could mark a terrifying new chapter for General Hospital, one that threatens not only medical ethics but also the fragile peace that the hospital and the town struggle so hard to maintain. Adding fuel to the fire is the claim by insiders that Kathleen Gotti has been seen filming at the General Hospital studios, though no official confirmation has been given. While this doesn't guarantee a return, it certainly lends credibility to the speculation. Given the show's history of dramatic returns, shocking resurrections, and morally ambiguous characters who teeter between villain and hero, Liesl's reappearance could be more than just a brief cameo. It could be the start of an expansive, multi-layered arc that reshapes the future for Britt, Hank, and everyone in their orbit. For fans who've missed the chilling complexity and emotional unpredictability that Liesl brings, this potential return is nothing short of thrilling. Her unique combination of maternal devotion, ruthless intelligence, and a willingness to bend every rule makes her one of the few characters capable of catalyzing true upheaval in the General Hospital landscape. If these rumors prove true, viewers may soon find themselves at the edge of their seats once again, watching as old ghosts return, new alliances are forged, and Port Charles braces for yet another storm from within. As speculation swirls around the ever-evolving landscape of General Hospital, one of the most tantalizing rumors currently making the rounds involves Kelly Thiebaud and the fate of her fan-favorite character, Britt Westbourne. The central question gripping viewers isn't just whether Britt is truly returning, it's how. Will Kelly reprise her iconic role exactly as we remember it, or will the actress re-emerge in an entirely new and unexpected capacity? According to conflicting sources, the truth may be far more complicated, and far more intriguing, than fans could have imagined. At the heart of the confusion are two opposing insider reports, both originating from sources with varying track records when it comes to predicting Port Charles bombshells. One insider has claimed definitively that Kelly Thiebaud will not be returning as Britt, nor will she be portraying a clone or doppelganger. That in itself already raises eyebrows, given that General Hospital has a long history of employing lookalikes, secret twins, and memory implants to explain sudden character reappearances. However, a second source, one whose credibility is arguably stronger, has presented a very different version of events. According to this insider, Kelly is indeed returning as Britt, but not as the Britt we last saw gasping her final breaths after being attacked by the Hook Killer. Instead, this Britt is suffering from amnesia, though that word was never explicitly used. More precisely, the report states that the daughter of Liesl Obrecht reappears in Port Charles without any memories of who she is, with fragments of her identity only beginning to resurface slowly over time. This opens the door to a fascinating psychological and emotional journey, one that allows the writers to explore Britt from a fresh angle while maintaining continuity with her past. If this storyline proves true, it would provide a plausible explanation for how Britt could return from the dead without contradicting the brutal finality of her supposed murder. The idea that Britt survived, perhaps thanks to her mother's intervention, and returned with no knowledge of her identity allows for both suspense and redemption arcs to be layered into her return. Given everything currently unfolding with Rocco Falsaroni and the emotional unrest surrounding Britt's death, a return under such circumstances could be both timely and explosive. Still, a deeper mystery lies beneath the surface of these rumors. How can Kelly portray Britt if she is technically not Britt, nor a clone? That conundrum leads to an even more far-fetched, yet strangely plausible theory. One rooted in General Hospital's history with memory manipulation and the shadowy machinations of the WSB. Veteran viewers will remember the WSB's memory mapping program, a chilling technology capable of transferring consciousness from one person to another through the implantation of memories. This storyline was most memorably utilized during Franco Baldwin's tragic arc, in which he was implanted with the memories of Drew Quartermaine. That experiment ultimately led to his downfall, with Shiloh Archer murdering Franco in a desperate bid to recover those memories. Given that history, and Liesl Obrecht's deep connections to the WSB's darker corridors, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that Britt's memories were extracted before her apparent death. In this scenario, Liesl, perhaps unwilling to let her daughter die, might have implanted Britt's memories into an entirely different individual. Facial reconstruction surgery, a staple in soap operas, could have then altered this woman's appearance to match Britt's perfectly. This wouldn't be the first time the show flirted with themes of identity, surgical deception, or psychological manipulation. In fact, the more one considers the elaborate and clandestine legacy of Albrecht, the more plausible this theory becomes. Imagine the drama of such a reveal. A woman arrives in Port Charles bearing Brit's face, her voice, and eventually her mannerisms, but lacking the emotional history that made Brit such a complex, beloved character. Her confusion would be genuine, her fear palpable, and her eventual awakening nothing short of seismic. Relationships with characters like Maxie, Austin, and even Nicholas could be revisited through a fractured lens, forcing everyone in Brit's orbit to question whether they are dealing with the woman they lost or a fabricated echo of her existence. And if the memory mapping theory holds, it's possible the real Brit is truly gone, her consciousness now housed in another vessel, bringing into question what truly defines identity in the world of Port Charles. Adding fuel to this speculative fire is Kelly Thibault's confirmed presence on or near the set, according to various fan reports. Whether her reappearance will be brief or long-term remains to be seen, but if the writers are indeed choosing to revive Brit through the lens of memory manipulation, it would be one of the most high-stakes, narratively rich decisions the show has made in years. It allows for Brit's return without retconning her death in a lazy or unbelievable manner, and it reinvigorates one of the most emotionally charged storylines in recent General Hospital memory. Ultimately, this rumor, however unconfirmed, perfectly captures the essence of what makes General Hospital such a compelling force in daytime television. It's a place where death is not always the end, where identity is never guaranteed, and where science fiction and human emotion often collide in the most unexpected ways. Whether Kelly Thibault is truly Brit, a woman with her memories, or someone entirely new remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, if this storyline unfolds on screen, Port Charles will never be the same again. Among the swirling chaos of rumors gripping General Hospital fans, one in particular stands out as both shocking and strangely plausible: the potential return of Nathan West, the beloved Port Charles detective portrayed by Ryan Pavey. As longtime viewers remember all too well, Nathan was tragically gunned down by his own father, the notorious Caesar Faison, in a scene that devastated audiences and marked one of the most emotional exits the show has ever delivered. His death not only shattered those closest to him, especially Maxie, but also left a permanent void in the Quatermain Faison Albrecht legacy. And yet, if the latest buzz is to be believed, that void might soon be filled in the most unexpected way imaginable. According to sources with varying degrees of credibility, Ryan Pavey may be in talks to return to General Hospital. Though no official confirmation has surfaced, whispers of his return have gained traction, igniting speculation about how his reappearance could be written into the narrative. Could Nathan somehow have survived his fatal gunshot wounds off-screen, with his fate concealed by a cover-up orchestrated by his mother Liesl Albrecht? Or, perhaps even more controversially, could the man we believe to be Nathan's resurrected form actually be someone else entirely, molded and manipulated through the show's most infamous plot device, memory mapping? This isn't uncharted territory for General Hospital. In fact, the show has a well-documented history of blending science fiction with high drama, using memory transference, plastic surgery, and ethically dubious experiments to reintroduce characters long believed to be dead. The theory gaining the most momentum now involves Liesl Albrecht going to extreme lengths to recreate her deceased son in the same way she is rumored to have brought back her daughter Brit, by transferring Nathan's memories into another man and surgically altering him to resemble her late son. If this sounds like the soap opera version of Frankenstein's monster, that's because it is. And it wouldn't be the first time General Hospital has veered into gothic territory to revive a beloved character. Fans who recall the memory mapping storyline involving Franco Baldwin and Drew Quatermain will remember just how dangerous and emotionally charged such procedures can be. Franco, after receiving Drew's memories, lost his own identity and ultimately met a tragic end. If Liesl used similar technology, perhaps with assistance or stolen files from the WSB, with whom she has a long, complicated past, then the man who appears to be Nathan could be someone entirely different under the surface. That opens the door to a storyline rich with emotional conflict, a man struggling to understand the memories he possesses, friends and loved ones unsure whether to trust him, and Liesl herself teetering between scientific genius and maternal madness. It's not hard to imagine a scenario in which Liesel, consumed by grief over losing both of her children, orchestrates the return of not one, but both, through extreme medical intervention. This would allow General Hospital to explore a deeply psychological narrative about grief, obsession, and the limits of science in rewriting the past. Liesel has always operated in morally gray areas, but such a move would redefine her character entirely. As a woman so unwilling to accept the finality of death that she manufactures living replicas of her children, embedding them with memories, faces, and voices stolen from the grave. The idea may sound far-fetched, but it's far from the wildest thing the show has ever attempted. As fans love to point out, General Hospital once brought us Kiefer the Alien, a bizarre storyline that pushed the limits of daytime television and proved the writers were never afraid to experiment with the absurd. More grounded but equally strange was the resurrection of Jake Weber, who was believed to have died and even donated his kidneys, only to return years later alive and well. In the grand tradition of these narrative retcons, Nathan's return via memory mapping, surgical reconstruction, or even some long-buried WSB conspiracy isn't nearly as outlandish as it might seem at first glance. Of course, all of this remains in the realm of rumor for now. These are not confirmed spoilers or script leaks, but speculative whispers echoing through fan forums, social media threads, and soap insider circles. Still, their persistence and the weight of nostalgia behind Nathan's character have lent them an undeniable appeal. Viewers adored Ryan Paevey's portrayal of the kind-hearted, justice-driven detective, and many would welcome him back in any form. Even if the road to redemption and recognition is paved with science fiction tropes and ethical minefields. What makes this potential storyline so compelling is not just the shock value of bringing Nathan back, but the emotional consequences it would provoke. Maxie would be forced to confront a man who looks like her husband, speaks like him, and even remembers loving her, but may not be the same soul she once knew. Liesel would be exposed as someone willing to defy nature and sanity in the name of maternal love. And the entire community of Port Charles would once again be pulled into a web of secrets, betrayals, and impossible choices. If General Hospital decides to pursue this rumor and reintroduce Ryan Paevey through such a complex and ethically fraught arc, it could very well be one of the show's most ambitious storylines in recent memory. Whether he is the real Nathan, a man with Nathan's memories, or something in between, the impact of his return would ripple through the lives of everyone he once held dear. And in the soap opera world where death is negotiable and science is as much magic as medicine, anything truly is possible. Another major rumor causing ripples across the General Hospital fanbase is the potential temporary departure of Kirsten Storms from her long-running role as Maxie Jones. While this isn't expected to be a permanent exit, whispers suggest that Kirsten is planning a 6-month leave of absence from the show, allegedly due to health-related reasons. The actress has been candid in the past about her medical challenges, most notably undergoing brain surgery 4 years ago to remove a benign tumor located at the back of her head. That very real experience resonated with fans at the time, and many are expressing both concern and support at the thought that she may be prioritizing her health once again. While no official statement has been made, the timeline of events and her current lifestyle shifts seem to add credibility to the speculation. Adding fuel to the rumor is the news that Kirsten has reportedly relocated to Nashville. This move appears to align with personal reasons, particularly the desire to remain close to her daughter, Harper, whom she shares with ex-husband Brandon Barish. Brandon himself recently exited Days of Our Lives and moved to Nashville with his wife Isabella and their son Joaquin. Despite their separation, Kirsten and Brandon are said to maintain a warm co-parenting relationship, and the transition to Nashville allows Harper to have a sense of stability between both parents. Brandon's reported focus on music in Nashville further suggests that the family's relocation is more than just temporary. While Kirsten has not formally announced a move, insider accounts place her there with increasing regularity, suggesting that Nashville may now serve as a second home base, one she'll return to even after her expected hiatus ends. What makes this rumor all the more believable is Kirsten's current activities outside the studio. She has been seen traveling with her close friend Emmy Ryland and their daughters, embracing a more family-centered routine.